Good morning, traders. It is Thursday, the 25th of September, 2025. I'm your host, Jason Allen Jankowski, and I'm here with today's Traders Daily Discipline. We've been working on several different kinds of thoughts lately, and I'm thinking that today maybe we could talk just a little bit about kind of a segue into some other details that I'd like to cover soon. So here's our quote to get us started. And I thought maybe we could take just a second and explore this thought. Here's a quote. If you put tomfoolery into a computer, nothing comes out of it but tomfoolery. But this tomfoolery, having passed through a very expensive machine, is somehow ennobled and no one dares criticize it. And that was said, of course, by Pierre Gallois, who is actually passed on now, but he was part of the French resistance in World War II and eventually became a brigadier general in their Air Force and helped determine France's independent nuclear deterrence facilities. Actually, a very good fighter pilot in addition to his other skills. And he's not with us anymore, but he was also part of the UN process and the what was that called when they rebuilt Europe after World War II? The Marshall Plan. Yeah, he was involved in all of that, and quite an interesting guy. But I thought this was very apropos because he lived in a world before computers were mainstream, and he saw what was happening in the process of using computers, and passed away after seeing computers become not only mainstream but in everybody's uh, home and business and actually in our pockets. You know. Uh, so what does this mean if you put tomfoolery into a computer and then what comes out is the same BS, but somehow that's credible now because it's been through this machine. So I want to put that in framework for us as traders. I think what we need to have as part of our focus is the issue that tools are only as smart as the person using them. If the only tool you have is a hammer, you're going to see every problem as a nail. If your use of tools is not based on an understanding of what the tools are made for, you could be using tools that don't really have any benefit to you for the job you're trying to finish. For example, um, a lot of people that I've had a chance to spend time with are people from the trades, the people that work with their hands, electricians and plumbers and carpenters, and their thinking process is different than someone who works with their mind, like maybe an accountant or an executive or a salesman. Why do I say this? Well, because their tool use is based on a different kind of need. Now, what is it that we need from the marketplace or from our tool use as traders? What is it that we're really looking for? We have to find a way to get on the right side, the correct side of the order flow in order to profit. As you've heard me mention this countless times, and you'll see it all the time in my material at Net Winning Trader, is that you can't make money unless you're on the right side of the order flow. The order flow is what determines price action. If there's more buying orders than sell orders in the market, prices are going to rise. It doesn't matter what the underlying technicals or fundamentals might be, because as more buy orders come into the market, they're matched against sell orders, and if the sell orders aren't there, the market must move higher until it finds the sell orders. That's the only thing that the market does, is match orders. It's a machine. So unless your tools help you find the time price relationship in the market where a change in the order flow is likely, then there's no point in using that tool because it can't help you get there. What you're looking for from your tool use is some method of understanding markets to the point where you can see clearly where a change in the order flow is likely. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen, as we've talked about millions of times. Nobody knows for certain. God doesn't know what these markets are going to do half the time. Sorry to say that, but it's true. Because nobody knows what the order flow is going to be until it shows up. So how are you going to predict what a human being is going to do with his order until he decides to do something with it? How are you going to predict that? You can't. Drawing all the lines you want on a piece of paper is never going to help you with that. Consequently, number crunching all you want with a computer is never going to help you find that point either. Now, it might help you locate things that have been repetitive in the past, such as maybe you're somebody who likes to recognize patterns and all that kind of thing. But there's still no 100% perfect way to analyze markets and expect to make money. So I want you to remember this, that when you trust your tools, and in this case, a computer, if you're going to use a computer with all the stuff that computers can do for you, you want to remember this. The only thing that's going into the computer is the traded price. It can't tell you anything other than that. It doesn't matter how you crunch all the numbers. It's not going to prophesy where the next round of orders is going to come from and from which side. So be very careful when using computers as part of your effective tool set. I personally don't use them. I use a quote system, and it has my proprietary method of analyzing price, but that's based on something that nobody I know has ever heard of or thought of, which is finding out where the loser is. How do we quantify where the loser is? I think I've come pretty close to figuring that out, and that's why my proprietary signals can give me a lead 60 or 65% of the time, which is more than enough to make a consistent gain week after week. Now, I'm not saying that to brag. What I'm saying is that's not because it's a computer that helped me with that. What helped me with that was an observational bias to understanding how money really is made, where the orders come in. What does that look like? Where can I see that ahead of time building? Well, when I finally discovered how to do that, my life changed. The computer just simply made it easier for me to calculate the price points in real time. Instead of me having to sit here and punch numbers into a TI-30 calculator, the computer could do it instantly and actually put a dot on the screen. So the computer tool helped, but it wasn't the computer that was the difference. The difference was the observational bias I brought to the table. Now that's where you need to be. Where you need to be is, what are you really looking for, and can you get a tool set to help you find that, what you're really looking for? And will a computer help you with that? I personally think they're almost next to useless in the trading environment. They're great for other things, but in the trading environment, I don't think they're very helpful. But that's me, and we'll have that conversation, I'm sure, over time. And that's it for this morning. So we'll have more on tool use over the next couple of sessions. And in between now and then, don't forget you can find me at netwinningtrader.com or at the Market Mastery Meetup. And I'd love to spend a few minutes with you. For those of you that are regulars and have been sending in comments and likes and all that good stuff, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hopefully we're going to be able to make an impact in the next few months and years. So thanks again, guys, and I will see you tomorrow on Friday. Have a great trading day. Thanks.